Today's topic is a villain many modern MTG fans may not be aware of, from a story long since removed from memory. Okay, not that far back, but the original storyline of Ravnica. As the tension between the guilds, for the first time, reached a fever pitch, there were a collection of bad guys looking to take advantage of the situation. Momir Vig was one such bad actor. Yes, Momir Vig is more than just a zany format of random cards, and today we'll learn about his greatest creation, a being so monstrous that it almost brought the whole of Ravnica to its knees. It ruined the guild's delicate balance, and was the predecessor of Nicol Bolas. This, one of the deadliest sins in MTG, is a being that brought the great demon Rakdos to heel. Today we'll learn about Simic Kraj. Momir Vig was an elf, native to the plane of Ravnica, and former guildmaster of the Simic Combine. To understand Momir Vig's motivations, you must first truly understand the motivations of the Simic. The original purpose of the Simic Combine was to provide for the health and safety of the Ravnican citizenry. They were essentially the doctors of Ravnica, researching diseases, finding cures, implementing environmental pollution control, anything that would go to the betterment of the health of Ravnica. Momir Vig didn't rail against this original purpose. In fact, the desire to secure a healthy, well-developed Ravnica is what drove Momir Vig to insanity. This obsession to fulfill his guild's ultimate goal caused Momir Vig to invest in some questionable research, releasing what can be said was a tidal wave of change on Ravnica. Through his efforts, Momir Vig did in fact make Ravnica a better, healthier place to live, at least for a little while. Still, there was always more he could do, being one of the most intelligent and inquisitive elves, and in truth, beings on Ravnica. Momir thought of the potential of Ravnica. His first real logical leap came in redefining his and his guild's purpose: to provide health advancements. That was true, but perhaps he could achieve this through biological enhancements, eliminate disease altogether by advancing Ravnica past the point of falling ill. To help him in this goal, Momir Vig created what are known as cytoplasts, living globes of biological information. They carried biological traits, enhancements that can be applied to those that need it through a surgical process. These didn't just carry the ability to fight off the flu, they were much more than that. They could transfer the genetic traits of one being, such as physical strength, intelligence, size, wings, flippers, you name it, to someone else. Though people outside of the Simic compound didn't take to this breakthrough much at all. Feeling shunned and unappreciated by a larger Ravnican public, Momir's tactic changed. If people didn't want to volunteer for these enhancements, in order to secure an adaptive Ravnica, Momir Vig would force these changes onto the public. He created a new line of cytoplasts, ones that merely needed to come into contact with someone in order to copy or imbue their traits. In unleashing them out to the public, Momir believed that over time, enough positive genetic change would occur and result in the perfect, most advanced, evolved Ravnica that was his guild's goal. From his lab, known as Novigen, the Heart of Progress, Momir Vig watched as Ravnica descended into chaos. The magical pact that held the guild's violence in check for untold years had seemingly ended. It was a kill or be killed Ravnica. His little cytoplasts couldn't cut it anymore. He needed to think bigger. He adapted his cytoplast into hulking monsters, life forms with almost no form at all that terrorized the city. He created beasts, as the Simic tend to do, making them into perfect weapons. He thought long about those who had denied his gifts, who rejected the chance to be better through his cunning. Ravnica was weak, frail, and needed to be burned, so that stronger organisms could rise up from the ashes. Enter Simic Kraj. At its base, Simic Kraj was nothing more than a secret experiment headed by Momir Vig in case the nuclear option needed to be used. It was a mass of cytoplasts with the cerebic fluid of a dragon and a neurosystem tied directly to Momir Vig. Though lacking any real intelligence of its own, the beast was easily manipulated by Momir to do his bidding. As Simic Kraj was activated, it called out to its brethren, if you could call them that. The other minor cytoplasts obeyed its call and tore themselves from their host to rejoin the mass. They violently separated themselves from those they had forced into evolution, mutilating and killing many who had joined with the cytoplasts. And with every single cytoplast that rejoined with Simic Kraj, the larger it grew, till it was the size of the Simic Research Lab itself. Things ultimately didn't work out for Momir Vig though, as the elf was killed shortly after releasing this Experiment Kraj. Without Momir to handle the reins, Experiment Kraj reverted back to a primal beast, destroying the city. But its end would come from an unlikely source: the demonic lord of the cult of Rakdos, Rakdos himself. Rakdos, the Lord of Chaos, wanted to rule and rain destruction on Ravnica as its sole evil, the master of all things messed up on Ravnica. Now, however, others challenged his seed of insanity. Experiment Kraj dared to challenge the demon's size and destructive intentions, and thus the proud Rakdos had to teach it a lesson. The fight was like a classic kaiju bout, but shockingly, the mass Experiment Kraj came out the victor. It swallowed Rakdos whole, absorbing the demon and attempting to copy its genetic traits to add to its own. Rakdos was rendered inert, lost in a coma, but the sheer power of the demon's genetic makeup was too much for Experiment Kraj, and the jelly membrane exploded from the pressure. Rakdos was freed, and slumped back into the Rakdos domain to rest in a coma, while Experiment Kraj was left dead on the streets of Ravnica. Experiment Kraj was the embodiment of Momir Vig's ambition on Ravnica. As his mind descended into madness, this mass of ever-growing, evolving biological traits is what the Simic ultimately wanted to achieve. Since then, the Simic themselves have evolved, still believing in the advancement of the Ravnican public, but not in such an extreme or careless way. In a sense though, Momir Vig changed the guild forever. Experiment Kraj made the Simic into the Evolution Guild, not simply the Treatment Guild on Ravnica. More than that though, Kraj was one of the first truly destructive forces that would come to batter the plane ravaged by catastrophes. This plane will know hardships and Armageddon worse than most could ever know, and still survive. And the monster Kraj was really the origin point, the first real threat to all of Ravnica. And there you go, ghouls and ghosts, another deadly sin of Magic the Gathering. For this special spooky season, you can actually enter for your chance to win this video's topic discussion, its actual physical card that I'll be giving away as a treat on this, hallowed holiday. To enter, all you have to do is be a subscriber to the channel, hit the like button on this video, tick the notification bell, and leave a comment. For each of the 7 deadly MTG sins, I'll pin the winning comment to the top of that video showing the world the winner. So quick, enter as soon as you can or risk your chance at some free cards. I hope you're all enjoying the holiday and this series. I super appreciate all the community goodwill going on right now. As always guys, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, see ya.